It is time.
Is it
definitely
time?
It's time.
Definitely time.
And if it's 7:58, you know it's the time to go live for the Nudelberg Daily Huddle. Welcome back to another day, another fantastic opportunity for you to chase your own greatness, get 1% better, and to join the community of the Nudelberg Daily Huddle and share insights and share fun and share camaraderie.
And it is a community. I mean, the camaraderie that is going on between people in the huddle, people joining the huddle, people asking to join my LinkedIn by saying, "Hey, I'm a fan of the huddle. Listen, you want to, open sesame. That's open sesame." So I have a gigantic shout out to my friend who I just adore. He's a friend. He's a client. Howie Cross. Shay showed me. So Howie and I went to celebrate last night, and we went to a place called Fern Street Wine Bar. Shout out to Cody Troynak, Miso, who was our attendant, if you will. Fantastic meal, fantastic people. That's what it's all about. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
And you guys look great in that picture, by the way. And both of you are products of that weight loss system. What's it called?
Yeah, Optavia.
And so is he still doing Optavia? Because I know you're not.
So no. So I actually had an Optavia meal yesterday because I have the remnants from the program and I was busy and I just slammed it. But I did career coaching with him, got him back to what he loved to do and what he's really, really good at. And he's a new person. So what's really funny is we did a video. We're not going to ever air this anywhere, but we ordered dessert, and dessert was s'mores. And we had a couple of bottles of wine, and on the video, he's like, "Wow, mushrooms!" I was like, "Mushrooms? What do you? Oh,
you mean marshmallows?"
Marshmallows. So it was one of those funny things. So,
awesome.
Oh, look at this! On Thursdays we wear white.
That's right, Jakester. Good job with the recognizing that we all happen to be in white today. But
so just to finish that up, a heartfelt shout out to him. Can't wait to do it again, brother.
And then let's wake everybody up with our morning wake up music.
Wake up, everybody! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Wake up! Come on! Come on! Wake up, everybody! Did you know me? Maybe then now listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody! No more sleeping in there. No more about to thinking, time for thinking ahead. Come on now.
So a huge shout out to everybody for reaching out to me yesterday after the accident. Really appreciate all the well wishes. I definitely played hurt yesterday. I did the best I could. I got, I moved a bunch of meetings. I did a couple that I thought really had to get done, but it was a traumatic event and I definitely had to push through some adversity, but I'm back today feeling good.
So if you go back to look at yesterday's huddle, you're like Casper the Ghost, man. It was, you were definitely not yourself. So, way to play through it. And thank God that you have no lasting effects. Shout out to Shani Tazi. Looks like she's new to the huddle.
So Shani is head of the leadership team for Leukemia Lymphoma Society. So
I did not know that.
Shani and I know each other very well. She gave me the opportunity to speak to that entire group. I helped introduce her to Casey Della Penna, who took the nomination to run for Man of the Year for them. So Shani's awesome. Thanks for joining the huddle this morning. And thanks for saying good morning and making yourself visible to the community. Because if you are here and you are only listening and not interacting, you're only getting half the benefit, right? You're only getting the content and you're only getting to develop that little bit, and you're not getting the benefit of joining the community and making yourself known.
And this is clearly, and I can say this with absolute certainty, the best networking event on the internet.
We're not biased at all.
It's
Definitely not biased.
It's unbelievable, man. There's nothing better. It's never been created.
That is it's awesome, and we're glad. Like we're really the show has grown so greatly over the past almost a full year at this point. We're in March. We really started doing it during the pandemic, so super excited to have Shani here. Thanks for being here, and glad to see the Huddle Network continuing to grow. But today we're going to start with some current events. I don't know for those of you who didn't get a chance to see, but there was a lot of conversation about Tom Brady being on James Corbett's show, his late night show. And it was a really good interview. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's a 10-minute interview that was really, really good, really entertaining. And you see why his teammates love him. He's just such a likable guy. But there's a couple quotes that
wait, time out. Not only is he likable, he's adorable. He's such a good-looking guy that you're just sucked into him. I mean, it's crazy.
And I wouldn't say that he's always been that way. Like when you look at his pictures when he got drafted, he wasn't exactly an adorable guy.
He was like he was a blob, man. It was like, holy shit, Now he has grace, he has stride. I mean, he is the epitome. Which is why,
to be fair, is his TB12, process, which incorporates all of the things. It's not just a training style. It's not just a diet. It's not just a time management, which is similar to Get on the Ball, right? When we talk about how we built Get on the Ball, that's our training method. That's what we've used to be successful for so long. So the parallels to, okay, great, I got to a point where I'm doing successful things. Let me show everybody what the method is. That's TB12's method, which is super cool if you've never seen it. But I want to talk about exactly what makes him so different than everybody else. Shay, show me the line about expectations and focus.
Yeah, it was very different, because where I was for 20 years was obviously, it was great for me. It was spectacular. I wouldn't have changed anything. And I think that when we were at that point, at the Patriots, everyone at the start of the season would be like, well, who you guys playing in the championship game?
Sure.
And it always got to be like, the expectations were so, not unrealistic. It was just like people jumped ahead of all the intense competition, which in the end for us, you kind of feel like, it's a lot harder than that.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than that. And I think going into this year was different for me because, you go to a different place and that wasn't really the question that was being asked. The question is, can you guys be successful? How are you going to be successful? How are you going to learn your teammates? How are they going to learn you?
Bingo, bingo, bingo. So let me unpack that for you guys. He talked about being at the New England Patriots where they were dominant for 2 decades. And towards the end of it, the focus for everybody on the exterior became, well, who are you going to play or what are you going to do when you get to the finish line? Not how are you guys going to get to the finish line again this year? And everybody was bypassing the process because they just assumed that the expectation would be the result. And that to me is so directly correlated to all success in life. As soon as you start staring at the result or the expectation becomes the result and you stop paying attention to how you're going to be successful, who's going to help you be successful, and all of the things that are so important to the process of getting there, you never get there.
So, I try and tell people there is no Adam
Foster with the line of the century.
Yeah, we're done. We got the GOAT coming on right after this. Stay tuned. Way to go, bro. I try and tell people this, that in life, in business, in sports and everything, there is no standing still. A lot of people just go, hey, you know what? I like it here. This is good. I want to plant my flag. We won a championship. It's great. The minute you win, someone is chomping at your ass. So you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. There is no staying still. And that's really what I love about Tom Brady is for him, it's continuing to improve while understanding that what got you there, you got to do again.
Is what's going to continue to get you there. That's the biggest thing to me. And like, so I think, especially in sales, it's like, well, just go sell, just go do it. And you lose the process and the importance. You're not focused on what are the things that make you great in sales. And you have defined it as what makes you great at creating opportunities, right?
So in our training, a lot of people are, I want to make $100,000. I want to make $1 million. They're all outcome focused, not behavior focused. And you and I, the core of how we think and how we operate is, if you don't do the behaviors and the activities, there's no shot at getting the results. And that's what happened in New England. I think even from the top down, I think even Belichick stopped doing what Belichick did because they made some very poor personnel decisions, in my opinion. So
yeah, and it's hard as a coach. It's interesting. I had this conversation with Jake about, I listened to Matt Nagy from the Bears and their GM.
I like Matt Nagy
on ESPN. I'm going to tell you, in my opinion of what they talked about for the future of the franchise, they sounded clueless. They sounded like they had no plan. And so it's interesting to see the organization where it is and to hear what they're talking about. But it's hard as a head coach when you don't have the options to make the personnel decisions. As a CEO, you get to choose who's on the bus and who's not. Like, you get that final decision in personnel, whereas as a head coach, you do not. You are only a part of the player personnel process. You get a say, but you don't get the final say. The GM is the guy that's really building the roster for you.
I mean, we could talk all day about the skill set of how you pick people. Scott McGregor, Joe Mullings, those kind of guys are all about, it's not only the skill, it's the skill matched with mindset, heart, drive, passion, all those
compassion,
kind of things.
Yeah.
And so,
integrity.
I listened to Keyshawn Johnson in the morning. I really like that show, him and Jay Will. And the callers are calling in saying, oh, Cam's going to go to Chicago. And so to your point, if Chicago's even considering bringing in Cam Newton and think that that's an upgrade from what they're like, I'm like,
correct.
Seriously, what didn't you see last year?
and they've consistently done this with Nick Foles. So that's a conversation in itself about picking the right people. I want to transition to the rest of the content today. I want to get to the motivational music, but today is National Sons Day. And so how lucky are we that obviously you're a son, I'm a son, I have a son. I have, Jake is kind of like a son, but he's definitely a son to you. So it's an unbelievable day to celebrate having a son, being a son. And part of what makes being a son so great.
I'm just a dude just hanging out in the back.
No, Shay, you should play. We should add that teed up with the, Robert Downey Jr. I'm just a dude playing a dude who wants to be a dude.
Well done.
That is so good. That is so good.
So the reason National Sons Day was created and the way you can help celebrate it is consider all the things you want your son to know and be when he's an adult. Take the day to teach your son something you think is important for him to know. Change a tire, balance the checkbook, small tasks, little mindset things, little foundational things that will be impactful to them for their life. And that's where I think is the biggest thing. It's not necessarily the task, but it's the philosophy and the thinking behind it. But other ways that you can celebrate are join an organization for mentoring boys without male role models. Find a role model that fits the interest of your son. Teach your son something your father taught you. Offer to give a skills class at a school. Make the day unique. And that one before that, offer to give a skills class at a school. Really cool story about me speaking to a high school entrepreneur class. Met a guy on LinkedIn. He's building his own personal brand. He's a high school teacher that's changing what he sees are the problems in the education space, and asked me to speak to his entrepreneur class. It was an unbelievable experience getting to talk to those kids and help set a foundation for them. So with that being said, I want to head to the morning motivational music, and then let's talk about being sons and what it means to be coached.
child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking for I knew it. And as he grew, he'd say, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and a silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, son. You know we'll have a good time then. Well, my son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today, I got a lot to do. He said, that's okay, and he walked away, but his smile never dimmed. It said, I'm gonna be like him, yeah. You know I'm gonna be like him. And the cat's in the cradle and a silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, son. You know we'll have a good time then.
That's a hard song not to cry to. That's really.
So, you know, we tried to cut the motivational music right at a minute, but as I was listening to that song, I was like, I can't cut it after the first verse. I can't cut it after this next chorus. Like, I had to let that one go for a minute and a half. But what a perfect song to represent National Sons Day. And John Son said, you know, like, no sons, two daughters, but
Same.
you were a son. But you were a son, and you get to impact your daughters in the way that your father impacted you, which is all about coaching. And I think that's what, you know, when we talked about coaching on Monday with Joe, and we talked about what Get on the Ball was and how I've always been a coach, I've just done it in different arenas. Coaching is about the relationship. And it has continued to evolve throughout the years to where it started with just do it because I said so. And it's become more and more of truly teaching people the why behind you do what you do, the why behind the philosophy and how you do things. So I want to spend today or the next 5 minutes talking about coaching and how you can be a successful coach, whether it be in your company, in your household, or with just your friends and your people around you.
I know you got content here, but I want to share that because of the way the world that we live in, someone is always watching you, either in person or on a phone or on the internet. And so what you do impacts, that's coaching in and of itself. It's who you are and what you do. So it's really, you know, you got to watch me do what I do. I had this on a coaching call yesterday. I said, for those of you who are not even connected with me, you're not even in the game yet. You know, I mean, when you get to watch what I do every day, then you can ask questions and say, hey, you know, we're connected, but I don't understand why you did that. So,
which that to me is the most important part of being a coach, is asking questions.
Yeah.
Because coaching is personal, right? It's based on, number one, the relationship. The reason you're able to coach Howie Craw and have such a great coaching relationship with Howie is because you built the foundation of a friendship and a relationship first. There's trust, there's respect, and now you earned the right to be able to coach him and develop him, which is the same in sales. You earn the right to do business with people by setting the foundation of trust and relationship and respect first. But then it's not about just telling people what to do. It's about asking them, well, why are you doing that? The all question, the and what else? It's getting to the root of people's problems or getting to the root of what's causing the issues in order to be able to unpack that and fix it.
So I think it's a real interesting place to have a conversation because, as you know, who's the podcast that I like? Michael Gervais. He talks about the different kind of coaches and the motivation for coaching. A lot of coaches just like to hear themselves think. For me, the bridge, you know, I had the bridge of entrepreneurship when I finally decided I'd bet on myself. better than anybody else. That was a bridge. The bridge to successful coaching for me was to make sure that the other person I can make them better than me and be okay with that. And with you talk about National Sons Day, that was like, wow, what a concept. Like, it was already there. And then I'd say, wow, I can impact your life. And real success is you being better than me. There's a lot of coaches who can't do that. They want the limelight. They want everything. They want all the things that come with that Tom Brady gets and his coach doesn't. But Tom Brady, he has coaches behind him that make him great. Bill Belichick was one of those.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of coaches who got no notoriety because it was all about who they're coaching.
Well,
That's a big leap.
He's got a team of people. And if you go back and watch more parts of the interview, he talks about all of the different aspects of things that help make him successful and the way he shifts his mindset from in season and out of season and what it's like to get reacclimated to being at home and being a dad and then going back into football mode where it's football all the time and everything is about the process. So being able to shift back and forth. Shay, hit me with the 2-minute warning.
So, Mark, this content that I was going to do yesterday, I'll do tomorrow.
Sure.
It's that good. We can just stay on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it fits directly into what we're talking about daily is you have to accept the challenge to make yourself better daily, to reach your potential. And if you think you can do that by yourself, you're wrong. Can you be good by yourself? Yep. Can you be great by yourself? Probably not. Because greatness requires the eyeballs of somebody else helping you, pushing you, guiding you. Like, part of what I'm so thrilled about being partnered with Joe is not just the business we were able to build together, but now he's in my corner. That's a guy that I can turn to ask for a push. So if I've got you, I've got Scott McGregor, I've got Joe Mullings, I've got unbelievable people around me that I'm able to learn from to push and get greater. You guys are my coaches. So that's the greatest part about what's happening. And I know we're up on time. So I want to continue to push this message of you have to find a way to get yourself 1% better daily. That's why we created Get on the Ball. That's why it's there for people, is that it's for you. It's for you to be able to consume at your own pace, when you're ready for it, how you're ready for it. And then you have us as a resource to say, hey guys, I got started. I'm in there. I got questions about this and that. That's an easy answer for us to do. So super excited for you guys to continue to take the challenge to get 1% better a day, be great coaches, affect the people around you, celebrate National Sons Day, and go get after it today.
I'm going to challenge you with one thing before you go. You know, you say you have to. You don't have to. Most people live in mediocrity. What you're willing to accept, regret at the end of your life is the worst thing ever. So if you want to get better and you're willing to look what's around you,
there you go.
It's all good.
You know where to go. Money.
Yeah.
Shay, take it away.
A child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking for I knew it. And as he grew, he'd say, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and a silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together.